Record. Perfect. Right, lads. So let me get this away as well. Right, where are we? Why can't I see me on the screen? Oh, give me 1 wee second here, boys, because I want me being the main screen on my side. Fuck it, it doesn't matter. Boom, boom. Let me change this. Right, super. So today we're gonna talk about onboarding new clients. Let me actually see if I can set this. Nope. This is difficult doing in the car. So yeah, we're going to talk about onboarding new clients, and I'm going to talk you through why you want to onboard people the way we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about how that sets a really good first impression. And first impressions is something that you want, because you're always trying to convert these clients into longer term clients. Okay, it's not just about getting them in for your front end offer and then they go again, because your front end offer isn't going to make you that much money. You want them becoming a client for 6, 12, or even more months than that. Okay. So the objective today is to understand why group onboarding is better than doing one-to-one consultations, which I'm sure some of you probably still do, or you might not even do consultations at all. How to set a good first impression, and then how you can automate all of the admin on the back end. Okay, so after you've onboarded the person, what you can basically then go through, with them that just saves you time and having to sit and send all the links and stuff over for them to sign up the stuff. So we'll talk about how you can automate that process. Okay. So the first things first. So the reason why we do group onboarding is the amount of people that we take in per month. It would just take up so much of our time if we were running one-to-one consultations. Okay, so hands up, who does a one-to-one consultation still? Nobody? Right, Aaron. What about you, James? Are you group stuff now? Thumbs up. Or are you, remember, I can't hear you. And then Shane, do you do one-to-one consultation? Are you groups, or do you not do one? Thumbs up if you do one. No, that's fine. So if you're doing one-to-one consultations, or if you're not even doing any consultations at all, that's perfectly fine. One-to-one consultations, you imagine if you wanted to take on 20 new clients per week and you're doing a one-to-one consultation with each of them, a typical consultation, might last between 30 to 60 minutes. So let's say it's lasting 60 minutes and you're doing 20 of them a week. That's 20 hours that you're spending just on doing consultations. Okay. The other thing is, you don't actually necessarily need a consultation. Okay. Clients don't really need to be sitting and telling you their deepest, darkest secrets as to why they've joined your gym. They just kind of want to get started, and they want to start getting results. We typically know people are coming to us because they've got struggles. We don't need them to, we're not counselors, so we don't need to sit with them and get them to divulge all of that information. Okay. Our onboarding is not a consultation process. It's more an information session where we're actually telling them what they expect, and we're setting the expectations. So expectations in terms of what we expect from the client and what they can expect from us. Okay. Now I'm going to go through our onboarding process with you in a wee second so that you can see that the whole process that we go through. So basically what happens on our end is we sign somebody up. As soon as they sign up through our sales page, they get taken to a Calendly link. All of our onboarding sessions are on a Saturday. So we have 2 sessions on a Saturday, and we can allow 20 people per session. So this is obviously because of COVID. If COVID didn't exist, we could easily just do 1 session with 40 people in it and just cram them all into the facility. But we'd have to have fucking 40 seats sitting around. So probably we'll stick to the 2. And what we then do is we get the clients to book in to 1 of 2 times on a Saturday. What's happening? Anto's just joined me in the car. We get them to book into 1 of 2 times on a Saturday, and then we basically go through our onboarding intro session with them. Okay. Now our intro session is basically just delivering all of the information that they need to know before they get started on their program. Okay. And I'm going to run you through our intro session here in a second so you can see exactly what we go through with people, and how that would set expectations. So when we are doing it, we have 2 coaches in. We have a presentation on the TV screen. Each person coming in has their own seat, and then on their seats we have like a little welcome booklet, and then we give them a free gift. Okay, so the gifts are only a couple of pounds. So we'd previously been doing little coffee mugs, branded coffee mugs, and then what we're going to try next time is we're going to give out monkey hats, because they're not that expensive either. So every person will get their own little branded welcome pack, and then they also get a little monkey hat from us. Okay, now it doesn't have to be something expensive, but I would strongly suggest giving people a little freebie. You know, if you want to set that more premium type service, like giving a little freebie as people are coming in for the induction session, it just really sets you above everybody else. Like, how often do people join a gym and do they even get an induction session like what we're going to be delivering, let alone getting a little couple of freebies as they're coming in as well? So it does really set the expectations from the second they walk through the door. Then what we do is on the TV screen, we basically have a presentation that we run through. Now, each of our slides is pretty well scripted. So if you went in and you seen me deliver one of these, and then you went in the following week and you seen Anto deliver one of these, the only difference you would know in who's delivering it is because we look different. The way we talk through each slide is identical, because what you don't want happening is someone missing out on something. So we basically have it all scripted to make sure that no matter which coach takes our induction session, it's the same across the board. So they're deliberately exactly the same. The order in which we do things, the things that we say through each slide, and then what we do at the end of it is all across the board the same. All right. So what I'm going to let you have a look at now, and I'll kind of talk you through each slide, is our onboarding intro session. So what we actually take clients through, and you'll see for yourself, like it's basically just an information session. There's nothing on it where we're sitting asking them and like, tell me why you're fat, basically, because that's what most people do during consultations. Okay. So this is like the brief. So the first thing we do is we introduce ourselves. So let's say, for example, me and Anto are here. I would introduce myself first. I'd be like, hey guys, I'm Pierce. I'm the owner of Raise the Bar Fitness. I'd be honest with them and tell them I don't coach anymore. I'd be like, I don't coach anymore. And then I would kind of introduce the rest of the team. So Anto, obviously being next to me, I'll be like, this is Anto. He'll then introduce himself as the head coach. And then we will tell them who the other coaches are on the team. We'll be like, listen, we have a couple of other coaches. We've Ethan and Graham. They're not here right now, but you will get to meet them. Once we've done our intro, we'll talk them through how it works, which I'll show you in a second. We then do our in-body scans. You don't need to have an in-body to do this part. Like, you can just take measurements or photographs, or it can be weighing them on the scale plus measurements or something like that. But you want something right from the get-go where you can track their progress, okay? Because you obviously want to be able to show social proof of results that you're getting from people and stuff, okay? Then we let the clients ask any questions at the end. Generally, there's not many, and you'll see why when we run through these slides in a second. And then that's us finished. We let them all go on their way, and then there's a little bit of admin that we do at the end, which is what I'm going to talk to you about how you can automate that at the end, okay? So this is our first slide. So we talked to them about what's included. So on this one, we literally just talk, we just touch on these points. We don't go into detail, because on the next slides is where we really go into detail on each part. So we'll tell them about the person. You get a personal coach. We'll put you on goal-specific training program. We're going to deliver group coaching here. You'll get your nutritional guidance, body composition measurements. We'll educate you. And then we also talk to them about members events. So we want them to know that we're a community-based facility. So we'll tell them about, you know, any members events that we do have upcoming during the time that they're going to be with us. And we'll make sure that they know that they're welcome to join us, because they're now part of the community. You don't have to be a full member with us to come along to any of our members events. Everybody is welcome. Okay. We want them to feel inclusive. The only thing that we don't let 6-week challengers take part in is test week, because if they're not going to be there in a few months, there's no point in testing their 3-rep maxes on certain movements and stuff. But any events like hikes and nights out and stuff, they're always welcome on. Once we've done that, we then go into more detail on each of the slides. Okay, so we'll talk about the personal coach. So what we do at Raise the Bar is we assign every single client to their own personal accountability coach, and we do that through the app TrainerAce. So the coaches are basically their point of contact. They are there to ask any questions. We do a weekly check-in. So we have a set structure for the weekly check-ins. For those of you who've been here a few weeks, you'll have seen this already. We then tell them we're there for support and accountability. Like, if you're struggling, please do reach out. because that's the only way we're going to be able to help you, kind of thing. So it's just letting them know that, like, listen, if you don't tell us you're struggling, like, we're never going to know that you are. So please do make sure you're reaching out to us. It's fucking roasting in here, isn't it? This car's like a sauna here. Anto's getting his clothes off beside me and everything, for fuck's sake. So that's the first slide. So talking them through the coach. Then we explain the programs. So for us, we have 2 programs. So we have Lean, which is fat loss focused, and we have Build, which is strength and muscle focused. You're going to get a wee look at the programs in a minute because we do show them the clients, but we just kind of explain, listen, we will help determine which program you're going to be on. We do send out a goal setting form when they sign up on Trainerize, and we kind of use that to base which program we're going to put them on. Okay, but we just touch on the programs very briefly because most of them aren't like gym goers. They're not experienced with this sort of stuff, so it doesn't really matter. We then show them the programs. So this is how our program looks. So here's Lean, here's Build. So everybody does it. This is how we talk through it. So again, we don't go into loads of detail on this because they don't care. It's just to let them see the difference. So we run both programs within the one session. So we could have 4 people doing Lean while 2 people are on Build. Okay, and they'll be doing that with one coach. So one coach is coaching 2 programs essentially. Everybody does the same warm up. Everybody does the same block A, and then get into block B's and C's where it gets different. So obviously on the fat loss one, we have a little burn, we call it, which is where they do the little bit of cardio. And then on Build, because it's a program where we're trying to focus on building muscle and strength, it's all weights throughout. So we do a little AMRAP at the end. So it's 3 exercises, 12 reps on each exercise, and they literally just go for 10 minutes. And it's the same over here on burn. It's a 10-minute EMOM, or it could be breakers, ladders. Like, this changes all the time. So the program's not the same every single week. We'll always be changing what's populated here in burn. Okay. So that's the program say. That's all we'll literally talk to them about on that. We don't go into the science behind the programs. We literally just explain the difference between the 2, and then we quickly move on. Okay. Then we talk to them about their sessions. So this is where we'll start setting expectations of how the program's going to work and what we're kind of expecting for them. So we'll explain to them, look, it's 3 sessions a week. It's group coaching. So it's 1 personal trainer to six clients. Because we're doing this in the gym, we kind of very briefly talk through each pod. So we'll be like, look, each client will have their own pod. And as you can see, this is what's in your pod. We then explain, we'll put you on your goal specific program. On this part, we do make it clear to them that they don't need to book specific times for specific programs because we run both sessions within every single session anyway. And then we just explain to them that you must book in. We're like, listen, if you show up for a session and it's already full and you're not supposed to be there, like, we will turn you away. And don't be afraid to say that to people. Like, you have to be clear with them that, listen, this is how it works here. You have to book in for sessions. And if you don't book in for a session and you show up and it's filled already, like, we're not training you. We haven't got the space for you. You know, you'll have to go away and book in for another session. And there's no harm in telling people that because, again, you're setting the expectations for how your business is run. You don't let them dictate how things are done. Okay. Then we move on to nutrition. So this is where this part's very brief as well. We don't go into a whole lot of detail on nutrition simply because the personal coach goes through all of that with them. You know, they spend more time going through nutrition and going through the nutrition course and stuff. What we basically do is explain our 3 nutrition rules, which is in video 1 of our nutrition course. We then explain how we're going to set their personal nutrition targets, so their protein and their calorie targets. We just explain that the personal coach will do that. And then we explain about the nutrition course, that they can either have access to it on our members portal, but we also explain, look, if you don't want to access it there, don't worry, we're going to send you out the videos anyway during your time with us. Okay. Then we go on to InBody. I'm not going to talk about the InBody much, but this is just basically where we do our InBody scans and stuff like that. So we'll take their InBody measurements, and then we'll just explain how the machine works or why we're taking measurements. And then we also encourage them to take some progress photos. So we don't take progress photos of our clients ourselves. We get them to do that, and then they upload it to Trainerize, and then we get them to do it again at the end of their program. Okay. You can't take them if you want while you've got them in for the onboarding session. All right. And then we just explain that these are going to be our tools for tracking your progress. Okay. Now for us, our front end offer, we do a money back guarantee on it. So it basically says if you don't get results, we'll give you your money back. Now, there is a few criteria for people to be able to get that. So first of all, they have to have attended all of their sessions, and they have to have had their body scan at the start and end, okay? And then they also have to have tracked their calories. So if you're going to do something like that, you need to make sure that you're explaining to people, look, if we're taking your progress now, we have to take it again at the end, so that we can, obviously you can prove if they haven't got any results. Now, you know yourselves, if someone attended all their sessions, and someone's actually tracked their calories, they're going to get results, you know, and results can be, even if they've lost 2 pounds, it's still results. So then the money back guarantee is then void. You don't have to give them it. Once we've gone through that, we talk to them about different resources they're going to have access to. So the RTB app, that's actually Trainer A, so we have it custom branded, so it looks like it's our own app. We then explain about the Facebook group. So we tell them that we use it regularly for educating and stuff, and for keeping them up to date with any events and stuff that's going on. We then talk about the booking system, Team Up, and then we tell them, look, we're going to send out regular emails throughout your journey. So we have an automated email and sequence that goes out over the course of the 6 weeks. They think it's all personalized, but it's not. It's automated, and it's all done for us. Once we've explained the resources, we then come on to their frequently asked questions section. So this is why we don't really get much questions. So you can already see the amount of detail that we've gone through. Then what we've done is we've literally taken the most frequently asked questions that we used to get. We've put them into a list of questions, and then we literally just go through these. So we'll run through these one by one, explaining in each. So how do you book in? You do that through the Team Up members app. There's going to be a link emailed out, which obviously I'm going to talk to you about how to automate all of this at the end. What if I cancel a session? We then explain our cancellation policy. So you can see here where, again, we're setting the expectation. So if people are canceling out of sessions and you've told them to have 12 and they're missing the cancellation window, like, they can't argue with you that, oh, well, I didn't know about it, because you've clearly told them during the onboarding session that, listen, we have a cancellation policy. What if I have a question? So the reason why we have this one on here is because loads of people still try to message me, even though I don't do check-in. So it's like, listen, you know, once you've got your personal coach, you don't need to be sending messages to me. Like, send them to your personal coach and they will answer your questions. It just stops you, if you're like the business owner and you're focusing on running the business, you don't want people bombarding you with questions about nutrition and stuff. Obviously, I know, Aaron, you're in a different position. You're on your own at the minute, so they are going to be coming to you. But when you get to the stage where, if you have staff, then you want to make sure that if you're assigning staff a personal coach, that's who they're going to for all their questions. What should I eat? And then what happens after the challenge? So this is where we're being very clear on, listen, this is just a kickstart. Like, we're not saying that we're going to completely change your life over the next 6 weeks. But at the end of the challenge, if you want to stay on, you can become a full member, and then we actually show them the membership prices at the end, which you'll see in a wee second. This part's just for our online service, which we've obviously been delivering. So we still do this even for someone signing up online. We just do them through Zoom. So we were doing group Zoom onboardings, and then they were getting this online stuff for free. So we just touched on this at the end. And then at the very end, while we're letting people ask questions, we literally just have our membership prices sitting on the screen in front of them. So they can then see how much we're going to be expecting them to pay at the end of the 6-week challenge if they want to stay on. Okay, you don't need to be secretive about your prices, because you're going to have to tell them at some point. And I found from we started telling people at the very beginning, it actually was easier to convert them later on down the line, because they weren't shocked whenever we then give them our price points. Now, these are going to be changing for us. We're going to be going solely unlimited, and it's going to be 149 for a 6-month contract and 179 for a monthly rolling contract with a 30-day notice period. But we just haven't updated it yet because we've not had to onboard anybody in a little while. Now, that's the induction session. Once we've done all that, obviously there's some admin going to be involved. So where you're going to need to get them set up on Go Team Up, you're going to need to get them set up on the Facebook members group. You're going to need to get them set up on Trainer A's and stuff like that. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. One is you can have a CRM system like Active Campaign or Ontraport or something like that, where you literally just go in and add a trigger to somebody. And as soon as that trigger's added, it starts a sequence of emails. Now, if any of you go down that road of wanting to use Active Campaign, I have this all built out already, which I can give to you. So I'll literally send you our template, and then all you need to do is go in and change the emails and stuff. All right. The second thing you can do is you can literally just type up an email template, and you can keep it in your notes. This way is a little bit longer because you obviously need to go in and add each person's email and stuff. Whereas if it's all automated through Active Campaign, it's literally a click of a button and it's done. But you can set up an email template and then go in and add each person individually and send that email template, or you can send it out on WhatsApp, whatever you find easier to be speaking to these people on. And you send it all out, and it has all of the relevant links there already. So it just means that the person literally follows your instructions as they're going through, and they're not getting confused about what they need to be doing. I'll actually show you one of ours. I'll let you have a quick look at how ours get sent out, and then if you have any questions, hopefully this loads with my connection. So you can see here, these are all different automations that I have built out. So one for 30 days. So this is one that I actually, so we built landing pages and the back end system for another gym owner who's not in the group, and we basically done it all for him. But I'll go into mine and let you just have a quick look at how that process actually looks. So this will just save you a lot of time. So if you're wanting to do that rather than having to do loads of shit manually yourself because it's a pain in the arse, like Active Campaign costs me £90 a month, but that's because of the amount of contacts I have. There is cheaper versions, so it's not overly expensive. And what you can see here, so this is basically what happens when someone becomes either a lead or signs up to our 6-week challenge. If they become a lead, to go over onto the right hand side here, until they sign up, they'll get an email every week for 6 weeks. And then once they sign up, so you can see here, goal 6-week sign up has been met. They then go into this automation. The first email that we send to them, so you can see here, if I scroll down to the bottom, it's basically got all of our, so it's a little talking to them a little bit about stuff here, directing them to our members website, talking about our nutrition rules, and then down at the bottom here, it's basically got all the links. So the members Facebook group, there will be a hyperlink in there. Number 2, book in for your first session. There's a hyperlink there for Team Up, and then we've got hyperlinks here for the Team Up app. We've got hyperlinks here for the website again, and then the Raise the Bar fitness app. So we have this synced via Zapier, where whenever someone is added to the tag intro session attended, it'll automatically add them to basically create a profile for them on Trainerize, and then it'll notify me that they've been added, and then I just go in and add them to their individual coaches myself. All right, but this is how you automate the process on the back end, rather than sitting having to go and manually send this out to every single person. However, obviously, if that's the way you want to do it and you don't want to get Active Campaign, then that's perfectly fine. So you can see here, we've like shitloads of people sitting in the queue waiting to start. So that's the onboarding process for us. Okay, so the key points to remember on this is a group onboarding will save you hours because you're not doing 20 single consultations per week. It sets expectations. See the amount of emails that we get back after doing this, people being like, oh my God, like I'm blown away. Like I've trained in loads of gyms and I've never experienced anything like that before. So it really sets a good first impression. And then it means nobody has any excuses if they're not doing anything that you've clearly stated that you want. So for example, your cancellation policy, if someone doesn't, we have a 2-hour cancellation policy. If someone misses that and they lose the session and then they try to argue with us that they didn't know, we're like, well, you did know because we went through it during the induction session and we clearly explained. Plus the app also tells you when you go to cancel that you've missed the cancellation window and you're going to lose the session. All right, so it's setting the expectations of what you want from them, but then also setting the expectations of what's going to happen throughout the duration of your front end offer. All right. If any of you have any questions, unmute yourselves there and fire away.
It's just literally, as you said, about the fact that you're changing to unlimited. Is that right? What are you going to do about the fact that, at the end of the day, you still have 12 spaces, and if people aren't booking in, they're not losing a session? Like,
Well, they'll still lose. So if that, we have to be clear on that, as in we need to tell them, listen, you fucking need to cancel out of the session. If we may look at something down the line where if we have repeat offenders who are cancelling out of sessions and not giving enough notice, that we may block them from booking sessions for a week or something like that. Something that's a deterrent from them and just being dickheads, basically. But our clients are generally very good, because when we
yeah,
go through this, we clearly explain to them, like, we kind of guilt trip them. So when we talk about the cancellation policy, we say to them, look, listen, you have a 2 hour cancellations policy. If you miss that window and you're going to lose the session anyway, like, please still go on and cancel, because we might have somebody on the wait list waiting for that slot. And then we guilt trip them and say, like, I'm sure if it was you in that position and you found out somebody didn't cancel, you'd be pretty pissed off. So if you imagine if that was you doing that on somebody else, like, it doesn't create a good vibe. And people are generally pretty good at it. Then they will they will stick to the cancellation policy. Obviously there's exceptions, and there always will be, where people are just dickheads and they just don't bother to go on and cancel, or they forget or whatever. But you just have to deal with that.
we're changing our prices at the minute as well. So was it right? Did you say monthly rolling 179, unlimited, annual, or 6 month? Was it
6 months we're going to do, yeah.
for 149?
149, yeah. So we're going to go this one here that we have, the 209. We do have a few people on it, but not many. And we just kind of, the way we are looking at it is our conversion rate will go through the roof, because it means that people, no matter what, they're like, shit, I'm getting unlimited PT. So no matter what, people are going to go for a option. So we're basically, first of all, we're reducing the amount of choices that they have. We're literally just giving them two choices. It's either you want to sign up for 6 months, or you want to do a monthly roll. And if you want to do the monthly roll, and you pay us more. But then also, one of the reasons behind us doing this is we're removing classes from our timetable, and we're only going to have small group PT. So by giving people unlimited, we won't have many people. Now, we will have some who don't want to. So if old members don't want to switch to these, that's fine, but they're still losing classes. But we're hoping that this will reduce the amount of complaints that we get from removing the classes, because people will be able to, like, we have loads of people on this who have been with us long term, so they're paying 179 already, who will happily jump down to the 149 for a 6 month contract and get unlimited PT. So it'll work in our favor. Plus, we're not going to lose. So our average yield per client is £164. So that's the average amount per person is spending with us, because it's between these two mostly. We have a few on this, but not many. So it'll mean that we know for a fact our average yield is what? Yeah, I want out. Nah, we'll be wanting out in a minute. That's right. Fucking big lorry trying to block us in here. The joys of sitting in a car park doing this. Any other questions about the onboarding or anything? Pretty straightforward. Like, I would strongly recommend everybody doing this, like having this streamlined and having a group onboarding session. Like, it really does blow people away. Like, when people come into us, and this has been their initial first meeting with us, they're like, literally like, wow, like, this place is fucking different to anything I've done before. He is going to block us in, and they ask him how long. Jump out and ask him how long he's going to be. But yeah, it really sets the expectations, lads, and it'll really set you up for, because you're still going to be trying to sell to these people technically while they're going through your front end offer. So their first impression of you is going to be, and your facility is going to be, make a big difference.
Now, how much is trainerized, Pierce?
The one that we have, mate,
Customized then?
is, I think it's $250 for the one we have, but that's because we've got that's because we've got the studio version, which allows us up to 500 people, because we've got like over 250 on it now. I think once you go over 250, you have to go to the studio one anyway. But there's ones on there that are like $60 for like up to 50 members. So it's not overly expensive. But if you've a couple of coaches, it works quite well. But it's not essential. If there's just one or two of you, you could do some of this through WhatsApp. You know, you could broadcast it, so you could have a list of your 6-week challengers in a broadcast list, and then you could literally send your weekly check-ins via that way, as opposed to using trainer aids. You know, if you're trying to keep your budget low for now, I would recommend doing that first, and then once your business is scaling a little bit, then you can obviously then look at other systems that you can bring into the business to make things easier for you. Obviously, we're in a position like we were doing 30 grand a month, so like, you know, all our systems probably cost us about 2 grand a month. But when you're doing 30 grand, that's not that bad. But if you're only doing a couple of grand a month, like 2 grand a month coming out of that just for systems is a lot. You know, so build up to it as you scale. You know, let's say you add an extra £2,000 in revenue to your business, you know, then upgrade one of your systems and then add another couple of grand in revenue and then do the same again, and just building it that way so that it doesn't look like it's taking a big massive chunk out of your profits. Because trust me, your outgoings will very, very, especially when you've staff and all, like our outgoings are like 15 to 18 grand a month. There was some months where it was like, you know, if we were buying in equipment and stuff, it was like 25 grand a month. So just be careful about your budgets. That's something I'm going to do on a call soon, is managing your finances and how to like plan. It's basically stuff that I learned from the Profit First book. Have you read that, James?
No, not yet.
Have you read it, Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cracking book. So it's stuff that I learned from that on how to
I got
properly.
it. I seen it in your story.
Yeah, mate, it's see for running your business using that method. It's fucking unbelievable. Before I'd read, well, I actually listened to it because I don't like reading; it bores me. But I actually listened to the book, and before I listened to that book, like how I managed the finances for my business was a fucking shambles. I don't know how we were making money, to be honest, before listening to that book. So if you haven't already, guys, I would definitely look into that book. You can get the listen audiobook version and listen to it, but it's quite good. It just helps you manage your finances. But that will be something I'm going to go through, because through speaking to some of you over the last couple of months, like it seems as if some people are kind of wanting to jump onto the shiny object thing very quickly when maybe the finances aren't necessarily there quite yet. So it's just to try and get you into that mindset of like not doing things unless you know that the money is physically there, and your business isn't going to, you know, be losing out in a potential profit. Like your business needs to be making profit pretty quickly. So
Sorry, can you do your programming through Trainerize as well? Like, could I come off True Coach?
Yes, but it's shit.
Is it?
If you've got True Coach, mate, just use True Coach instead of Trainerize.
Do it all through True
Do it
Coach.
all. I just don't like True Coach for the check-ins and stuff, but it's essentially the same thing. So if you've already got True Coach, I would just stick with that and do all of your check-ins and stuff through that.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Happy enough? Sound. Well, look, obviously, if any of you need anything from me, give me a shout. I will put my template onboarding session here into the group. I'll fire it over, and then you can take what you want from it, edit it, and then use it for yourselves. All right. And then if you have any questions around the onboarding process or anything, or how to get clients booking into them or anything, we do it all through Calendly. Give me a shout and I'll help you out. All right, lads.
Cool.
Super. All right,
Cheers.
boys. Speak to you soon.
Take care.